October 22nd, 2019. Here is the setup for Donald Trump to, they're gonna basically blame his airplane falling from the sky, right? Nobody's saying anything about his airplane falling from the sky, just me. But what they're gonna do is this: come October 25th, which is Friday, at 11:59 p.m., this is what's going to happen.
Also in the news, as Halloween is approaching, the radical left is actually using thousands of witches to cast a binding spell on Donald Trump on October 25th, proving Halloween is a holiday of very big witchcraft and evil deeds. This is from the End of the American Dream blog. I know that the headline will sound very strange to a lot of my readers, but this is actually happening. On October 25th at 11:59 p.m., just at the stroke of midnight, thousands of witches will simultaneously conduct a ritual which is meant to bind Donald Trump. It's going to be like a curse or a hex, or what they call a binding spell, not meant to cause harm, but to prevent harm to the country. Now, the ritual calls for the use of an unflattering photo of Trump, a tarot card, a stub of an orange candle, a pin, a feather, and the participants then call on the heavenly hosts, demons of the infernal realms, and spirits of the ancestors to bind Trump so that his malignant works may fail utterly. You see, folks, this is what we're dealing with in radical America today. This is the hate and vitriol being spewed by the mainstream media. Fail utterly. You see, folks, fail utterly. You see, folks, this is what we're dealing with in radical America today. This is the hate.
In other words, as he has his AMTV mug there, in other words, Donald Trump is going to fall from the sky on Air Force One, and well, they're gonna blame it on a binding spell, that there was some kind of malfunction that happened in the airplane. You know, and it dropped from the sky. Which also means it looks like they're getting ready to play Donald Trump dying for 3 days. So let's just do the math here. If this happens, like if he's flying somewhere at that time, and so that would be Friday night, midnight, basically. It'd be midnight Friday, and then all of Saturday, all of Sunday, all of Monday. So Friday, October 25th. You know, they're leaning towards, let's see, if it's 3 days, because once he rises up, it's going to be all hell breaking loose, correct? Isn't that how that works? Or is it the rapture? Does he just go up with the rapture when he rises up? Maybe. You know, I never thought of that. Because not everybody sees him, right? Like, when Christ rose after 3 days, he went up for 40 days, but who seen him? Well, you know, just his disciples. The ones that were watching the entire time. They knew. So if he goes, let's just say, okay, Saturday, sometime, they do the hex thing. It doesn't happen immediately. Maybe he has time to laugh at him. Yeah, Trump will probably send a tweet laughing at him, right? And then Saturday, it's like, all of a sudden, Saturday, let's say Saturday at like 8:48 a.m. And then, well, no, that would be 1, 2, 3, 3. I don't know, maybe like Saturday 8:48 p.m. That would be 1 day to p.m., 2 days to p.m., 3 days to p.m. And then in the middle of the week, that's lining up better. In the midst of the week, at 8:48 a.m., well, that's 3.5 days later. It just depends on which role are they playing. I'm still confused on this, and that's why I just say it out loud, because maybe people might give some insight. the 3 days, I'm leaning more towards Trump is going to die for 3 days. Because now they're sending the hex on him. I've already thought about his airplane a couple weeks ago, and then now here comes the hex. The spell gives it a perfect reason to blame it on the witchcraft. But at the same time, they're going to blame it on the Democrat. Well, yeah, that is the Democrats. Okay, so yeah, they're going to blame it on them. They're just coming into the picture now with the Democrats. But it can also be blamed on terrorists sabotaging his airplane, and now it's even better. It's so perfect how the script is so obviously readable that now they have another reason why Trump is in jeopardy amongst the impeachment script too. All right, so I'm just going to go with this. In the midst of the week is the second 9/11. In the midst of the week, it's the second 9/11. In October, this would be these are the 2 times. But now, see, I was thinking about the 2-3 bypass. Not anymore. Because now that I've just seen that news, Trump is going to be, around the 25th, they're going to cast a spell on him. So if there's 3, let's see, if it's 3 full days, 8 a.m., 8:48 a.m., then it's 1, 2. Then Sunday morning, so it's either Saturday night, the 26th of October, after he has a full day of mocking them, like, idiots, and then he goes and flies over to, like, I don't know, where is he going? Mar-a-Lago or something? So Saturday, if he gets on an airplane and goes somewhere, then all of a sudden there's some kind of failure, and they're going to blame it on the Democrats causing the witchcraft. So he falls into the ocean somewhere, and then there's rumors for the next 3 days that he got swallowed up by a fish because the Coast Guard, the air, everybody's out there looking for Trump in the ocean, and they can't find him. And then 3 days later, here comes the second 9/11. In the midst of the week, the Antichrist is going to cause the prayers to cease. And on top of that, Trump, well, I guess maybe he'll rise up for the next 40 days, if that's how that works. So, or is this the rapture? Or is the rapture and Trump rising at the same time?
Within radical America today. This is the hate and vitriol being spewed by the mainstream media. Donald Trump is putting a warning out to you tuning in that a civil war is fast approaching in the United States of America. And this absolutely is a lynching of not just the president, but you tuning in. And this is irregardless of color, whether or not you're black, white, green, polka dot, blue, Christian, Muslim. This is what we're dealing with in radical America today. This is the hate and vitriol being spewed by the mainstream media.
Don't you love his new pad? Hey, Klecks, is that one of your drawings? I'm sure it is, in all likelihood. Is that your mug too? Did you write those letters there?
I woke up and went to work, listened to him.
Back on October 3rd.
As I'm seeing the theme and the airplanes falling from the sky and Trump's Air Force One falling from the sky, that's his rumor of how he's going to die. And this is
recently we have witnessed many fireball events, and we just witnessed one that lit up the skies in China. Now we're finding out that here within the past 24 hours, maybe even the last 12 hours, they're saying this occurred during Wednesday. Not sure the time that they've got their BST. They're saying this occurred during Wednesday. They're saying this occurred during Wednesday. Not sure the time that they've got their BST.
I'm not sure the time just yet, but Wednesday is lining up pretty well. And in October, the second 9/11 on Wednesday, in the midst of the week. 800 feet, Old Corpus Christi Road. Love Park. It's right there at John F. Kennedy Plaza, Philadelphia. The angel, the Church of Philadelphia, John Klecks, has garnered the nickname Love Park for the famous sculpture by Robert Indiana. So over here, because there's City Hall, there's William Penn, and over here is Love Park. And if you move over a little bit more, if you drive down John F. Kennedy Boulevard and you go to 17th Street, as many years as Jonathan Klecks has been doing this ministry, if you just go down here, you'll get to the 800 suite at 17th and John F. Kennedy Klecks Boulevard in Philadelphia, PA, on a Wednesday, 8:48 a.m., 9:03 a.m. would be the answer to a Dabu 7 there. Your timing of the second 9/11 in Philadelphia is on a Wednesday in the midst of the week. In October, it's getting to that point where when Trump, well, look, you know what's going to happen here. As I'm reading the script, I think Trump has to die first before the second 9/11 happens. I think that's what needs to happen first, because then he can rise back up in the midst of the week and cause some destruction. But see, also possibly the following week, well, it's just going to be a countdown. 3, 2, 1 could be the November 6th, 11/6, turn the 6 and 11 back upside down and right side up, and you'll get yourself a 9/11. Then Monday is the 11/11. I'm sticking with the midst of the week, the second 9/11 on a Wednesday.
Corpus Christi. Y'all know what Corpus Christi means? Corpus Christi means the body of Christ. That's what it means. And I was like, Corpus Christi Road. See? Speed limit 50. Let's see. That was...
It's 11:11 p.m. where he's at that moment, supposedly on October 7th. And he has Wednesday, 9:03 a.m., which is the same exact time that the second airplane image hit the building of 9/11 and exploded at 9:03 a.m. And then the 50 days, 50 miles an hour.
That was on Wednesday at 9:03 a.m. That was on Wednesday at 9:03 a.m. when I went to...
Wednesday, 9:03 a.m. Corpus Christi, 50 days. I had a countdown, 50 days until he rises up with that next, the major news dominating event that happened in his town. From the last Texas incident was on August 31st, and that's when Klecks got his... It's when he got the letter in the mail. He went to the PAO box, and the PAO box, he had on there, the date was August 31st, and the stamp cost $4.35. And at the same time, the Home Depot store was store number 435, where they all gathered together. So from this time, the last major news dominating event that happened in Texas with the Home Depot shooting reference, 50 miles an hour later, lands on the exact day that the tornado hit in Texas, the Home Depot, 50 days later.
These pictures right here. Here's the envelope. I don't want to show you the address. Oh, their address. Well, you know what? There you go. So, see? To Jonathan Kleck. It's probably got a date on that stamp. August 31st.
Yep, August 31st. $4.35. That was the last event that happened in Texas, referencing the Home Depot. And then the finally 50 days later, is the next major news dominating event over in Texas and Dallas on the same night that the Eagles played and got their asses whooped in Dallas. And that Home Depot that he was at, it was store number 435. The other store that got demolished by the tornado was store 75. I don't know what, I'm not connecting anything with the 75, but I am connecting everything else pointing to Jonathan Kleck being responsible for these events that are taking place. At least he truly is like setting up the stage. I believe Steve understands the script too, but he's not. I don't think he's actually out there helping people set up. I think he actually is lazy and just sitting there resting at that house over there in Linwood, Michigan.
See on the right side of your screen.
Fox 4.
Damage to some Garland neighborhoods.
Shiloh's at
This
Robin
is
Lane.
Shiloh Road, north of LBJ Freeway. There are trees down. Many
4
homes with
folders.
damage. Garland police say they have no reports of any serious injuries, however. And the tornado, pretty clearly, I don't think we need to say may have. A tornado hit northeast Dallas last night.
Last night, which is October 20th. 50 days.
Where a Home Depot store was badly damaged. Brandon?
Yeah, good morning, guys. The damage here in this area is evident before you ever get to this Home Depot. You can see this entire section here around Forest and Central is dark. Everywhere I look.
So on October 17th, if a Lowe's terror attack happens on Sunday, October 20th, if it was the Lowe's attack, well then that would connect with the second 9/11 happening on a Monday. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen at a Lowe's, but it absolutely happened. A terror attack happened on Sunday, October 20th, 2019 at the Lowe's. 50 days passed since the last event that happened in Texas, at the Home Depot. If I said Lowe's, it happened at the Home Depot. And then 50 days later, from the shooting reference at Home Depot, is now the tornado, the twister.
Because the light that's in me is making everything manifest. Jesus in me, the light, is making manifest. The whole Vatican's a big snake. All these clothing lines, all these altars, all this really twisty stuff that you're getting to see is all because the light that's in me is making it manifest. No, Klecks a wolf. I saw him wearing a wolf shirt. Like it? I like my wolf shirt.
The strongest rotation now approaching the Dallas.
But the sheep beats the wolf.
South
Touchdown.
635.
The sheep. The screen is proprietary. So whatever I'm looking at should be what's getting recorded, okay? I forgive you for whoever made the ugly comments. And then some of y'all that had your little magic channel. I prayed for you. I did. I want you to know that. I prayed for you. And don't think you're so damn smart either. It's like ridiculous. All right. He wants me to do this like memoir, like where I sit down and I just kind of do historical memoirs where I just talk about everything. There's no set schedule. I'm just going to talk about what happened, how it happened, and what the deal is, and how I ended up where I'm at, and how insane it is that I'm the guy to deliver this stuff. And I don't know, I don't know if I'm supposed to make it all public or not. But he told me I got to do
I
it.
will.
I got to document my story. Anyway, so I'll be doing other vids very soon. Roberto's coming tomorrow. No day off for Juanito. No, just more work. And it's 12:02 a.m. 12:02 a.m.
12:02 a.m.
No, that means I'll be up processing this for next hour. We get to bed by 1:30, maybe.
All right, guys. So we're going to meet up at 1:30 this time on our next event because we're taking a day off and we're going to get set up again. So right now, you got a few more hours to go until we meet up.
30, maybe. I love you guys, and I am so pleased. I love you guys, and I am so pleased that the Lord God lets me minister to you. I love showing you all the truth. I love sharing the truth. I love showing you that the Word is alive. The Word is alive, God, to you. I love showing you all the truth. I love sharing the truth. I love showing you that the Word is alive.
Lie.
The Word is alive. Guys. It's literally alive over all these years. Everything speaks from the Word to us.
On the loop, and Jason, you're in good position to come in right behind it over here at Love Field. Let me give everybody a heads up. We have a tornado on the ground near Love Field going to the east at 25 miles an hour. That would put it in Highland Park by...
I love you guys, and I am so pleased that the Lord God lets me minister to you. I love showing you all the truth. I love sharing the truth. I love showing you that the Word is alive.
I'm sensing a lot of love here. Does that ring a bell? Like the angel of the Church of Philadelphia? The Liberty Bell? Brotherly love?
Okay, wait. Can I get everybody ready? Brace yourselves.
So the city where the lumberyard is New Philadelphia.
Does that ring a bell like what's on that container out there? Revelation 3:10. This is a letter to the Church of the Angel of Philadelphia, the New Jerusalem. I told everybody that's what that container represents, is the New Jerusalem, the bride of Christ. Revelation 21 says,
21st.
Revelation 10,
October.
3,
2, 1. 24th.
And now write upon you the name of the city of my God, which is the New Jerusalem, which comes down out of heaven. And then in Revelation 21, you find out, John says, and I saw the New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven, adorned as a bride. Okay, so these are all these coincidences.
Tell me about it.
Coincidences going on with all this stuff. So now the tree of heaven table came from Yoder, which is in New Philadelphia, which means brotherly love. And it's Yoder, and it's it's 5:14 and 5:16, and then continue on.
And so
So this would be the Jonathan Klecks show. July 4th is he was dropping all kinds of subliminals about Home Depot. This is where I'm getting my Home Depot. This is where I'm getting my predictions from these guys. The Home Depot reference, the Philadelphia reference, the Church of Philadelphia. The shooting happened. The 6 officers got shot. One got a wounded head. He did live. He had 2 sons. One of them was 9 and 10. And then the next 13 days later, the Church of Philadelphia burnt down to the ground at 52nd and Lancaster Ave. And then 3 full days later was the shooting reference at the Home Depot in Texas, Odessa, Midland, same place that Steve got his well from, Midland, the King Midland. And then you had a 50-day lull, 50 damn days of no major news dominating event. And then when Klecks over there is driving down off of Corpus Christi Road and he has 800 feet, 800 suite to go to Philadelphia 17th and frickin' John F. Kennedy Boulevard in Philadelphia on a Wednesday, you have all those references 50 days later as he's driving 50 miles an hour to get off of that exit to go across Corpus Christi Road. Then I'll be damned, a twister happens over in Texas at the night of the football game that, it was kind of expected that the Eagles were going to get destroyed, which they did. And at a it happened to just tear apart a freaking Home Depot. These guys, I mean, it ain't even close to even thinking that they're not part of it. But for anyone that is still like on the fence, here's the evidence, man. You know what I mean? Like here. So before this, my first thought of a Home Depot was when I seen the Home Depot bucket on Stephen James and Sean's video with the boats, and then when I heard Johnny say this here.
Out some red color and put it on there. I'm just supposed to reach in and pick it out. I'm like, well, okay. I mean, why are you freaking out? He's like, how do I know which color red? I'm like, dude, who cares? Just go pick one. And so he goes and picks it out. What was the color?
Well, the Lord said you'll know it by its name, and it was the first one that I had, and it was Rapture Red.
So he reached in and he picked out all the paint samples in Home Depot, and he pulls one out, and the first one he pulls out says
Rapture Red.
That's what's on that thing. Ah! So, do we know something's gonna happen? No. Do we have kind of a hint-y idea? Kinda. Yeah. We think so. I hope so. Anyway, we're like children, aren't we? The Bible. Thought I would just document it. It says the Covenant. It's a restaurant, the Covenant. It says the Covenant 900 Kitchen. The Covenant 900 Kitchen. 900 degree kitchen. So, I guarantee you that'll have something to do with Apollyon and cooking everybody, I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Covenant 900 Kitchen.
I bet you it will.
Alright, anyway, just documenting. There you can see on the street sign is the Phoenix Rising on all the streets. Shows the Phoenix Rising, so I'll try and keep it right there on the street sign. It's the Phoenix Rising. So when it says welcome to...
So as soon as he delivers that Mark of the Beast video, the Mark of the Beast is going to be rising to Phoenix. The money collapses. I mean, is it not pointing towards Philly? Am I just looking too far into this? Or does everything line up with happening in Philadelphia?
Anyway, just keeping a record of it. Okay. Okay, just documenting this. So I'm going to, the highway that's going to take me there is called Carefree Highway. Carefree Highway to take me. All right. So anyway,
Carefree
just
Highway.
keeping a record of it.
Carefree Highway, 0.3 miles, 223 backwards. Well, this one's a 65-mile-an-hour zone, which is 15 more miles an hour than the Corpus Christi. Because once you cross Corpus Christi, and then when you're heading to Carefree Highway, that's probably like 15 days later from one event to another. 15. What's the 411? Hun.
Angel and a demon. It's amazing. All right, off to meet the lambs and see what happens. I'm going to stop at the Hoover Dam. A very strange thing happened at the Hoover Dam. I mean, at my house the morning.
I'm going to stop at the Hoover Dam. I mean, a strange thing happened at the Hoover. I mean, my house in the morning happened at the Hoover. What did you say? The Hoover Dam.
Lambs and see what happens. I'm going to stop at the Hoover Dam. Demon.
Let me slow this down for you.
All right, off to meet the lambs and see what happens. I'm going to stop at the Hoover Dam. A very strange thing happened at the Hoover Dam. I mean, at my house the morning I got ready to leave. We got up at 4 in the morning. My son had to
You're
catch a
so
flight.
smooth and slick that we can't tell that what you're talking about. Up at 4 in the morning. 4, 3, 2, 1 in the morning.
And he walked into the kitchen, and he was like asleep. He had only gotten a couple hours of sleep along with myself. And he walked into the kitchen, he opened the refrigerator, and I was
And
looking
it
at him
exploded
going,
like the Hoover Dam did?
He just wasn't with the program at all. And he pulled out this big water jug that was filled with water, a solid glass.
Right,
and
right.
I mean the thick glass.
Yeah.
And he held it up to his chest. He got it up here and just dropped it. It was literally a catastrophe in our kitchen. I was like, what the hell? Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
All glory to God.
Hallelujah. Glory to God.